So, hello again. Welcome, wonderful people. You can see I've pretty much worn pyjamas for you this evening, so I hope you've all got your comfiest comfies on you. For those of you that downloaded the playlist, we'll put it on in a minute, but just for now, this evening's class we're going to be looking at the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. So there are loads and loads of nerve endings in these areas of the body, completely unsurprisingly. Isn't evolution wonderful? So I tend to find that throughout the practice, the times when I feel, or just feel the most, I guess, is when I've got some sort of contact between the palms of my hand and something, or I'm just being very aware of where my palms are. And the same with the soles of the feet. If I have got the soles of the feet on the earth, or if I'm acutely aware of where they are in the space, I find that gives me a real sense of where my body is and how my body feels. So we're going to play with that today. Today's practice is also not necessarily here we go. There she is, let Harry in. Today's practice is also a little bit more like less traditional yoga stuff in it, so it's a bit more playful, but I'm hoping you all enjoy it nonetheless. So find yourselves a comfortable seat wherever you are, and have near you, if you manage to grab either a pair of socks and bundle them up, or a stone. If you manage to get a stone, fab, or a crystal. I happen to have lots of crystals hanging around the house. Don't ask. Everyone related to me will know that they are, thanks to the wonderful Nanny Babs. But whatever you've got like that, so you either need your little stone or your crystal, or if you've got your ball of socks, have them to hand. And then bring yourselves into your comfortable seat, wherever that might be for this evening. So settling yourself in, whether you're cross-legged or whether you're sitting on your knees or sitting on a cushion. You can either lie down for this part of the practice if you really wish. And wherever you are, grabbing your little your stone or your object, we'll just call it an object because you'll all probably have different things, and placing it in the right palm. And we're just going to rest the palms gently on the knees or the legs, wherever they are. So this is probably the opportune moment. If you have got the playlist, just press play on the playlist. I'm going to start mine now. And then we'll get going. So making sure you've got with you your little stone or object, resting palms on the knees, so palms are facing the sky, so not clutching the object, just fingers are loose here, there's a softness to the palms, shoulders are heavy, and then bringing the awareness to the body, bringing that internal awareness wherever we are, either lowering the gaze or shutting off the eyes. And giving ourselves a moment here just to settle into our seat. So get yourself really comfy in that seat, any adjustments you might wish to make. Settling yourself into your body and settling yourself into your practice today. And imagine that perhaps there's a small version of yourself, a teeny tiny version of you. And imagine you could walk around your whole body as if it were a city. So the architecture of your body, just strolling around, having a little look. Just taking a moment just to go for a stroll in that little town, wandering around on the skin, wandering through all of the veins, up and down all of the limbs. And just checking out everything, seeing how it feels today. Not paying any particular attention to any one part, just roaming around as if you're glancing at the buildings, glancing at areas that you might feel you recognize, Recognizing any sensations or any areas you might feel that you haven't noticed before. But doing this with a sense of welcoming these new experiences. As we stroll around the body, taking in all of the areas within us today, slowly nudging that awareness to that right palm holding the object. So just creeping that awareness, taking that stroll all the way down that right arm, coming to rest in that right palm. And taking a note of how the feeling is, or how it feels to have the object in the palm. Does it feel heavy? Can you feel pressure? Is it hot or cold? Imagining all of those nerve endings in contact with the object. The full contact between the object and the palm. Every time the mind perhaps starts to wander off to another area of the room or area of the body, just gently encourage it back to that space on the palm where the object is in contact with the body. And very softly allowing that focus, allowing that stroll again through the rest of the body. So drawing the focus perhaps away for the palm, just for a moment. Strolling around the body again, bringing yourself back to the rest of the body. Awareness of the whole body. And very gently, if the gaze is lowered, raising the gaze. If the eyes are closed, blinking open the eyes. Bringing yourselves back to the room. Taking a little look around the room with the eyes as though it's a fresh look. You've never seen this room before. Taking everything in. And then popping your object down, whatever that may be, your crystal, your stone. And we're going to bring the legs out in front of us now. So bring yourselves onto your bottom if you're not already there, legs out in front. And then palms are coming to the feet. And we're just going to begin today by rubbing the feet. So I'm really sorry if you are not into feet and that this is a traumatic experience for you. But we're just rubbing, we're warming up the body with our hands. We're really focusing on the contact between the palms of the hands and all the parts of the body. So rubbing the feet, getting in between the toes. Oh, mine are not pleasant today. Getting the soles of the feet, the arches of the feet, coming up the ankles. We're working our way up the whole body with this rubbing sensation. So really warming into it. Like, you're on your own here and I can't see most. In fact, I can't see any of you. So rub as much as you want. Like, you can really get into this. Get some friction, get some warmth. No one's going to judge you for looking silly. Rubbing the knees and the backs of the knees all the way up the sides. Just getting the blood circulating. And the hips. Getting into the buttocks and the lower back. And the waist. Getting in all the belly and the sides of the body. Rubbing into the chest. I feel like I'm having a wash every time I do this. And the armpits. And as much of the back as you can, just really rubbing. And then the left arm, the shoulder, down through the elbow and the lower arm. And rubbing the hands together. We're all a bit sick of rubbing our hands together at the moment, aren't we? Getting the fingertips up the right arm, so hand and the forearm and the elbow. Rubbing the upper arm and the shoulder. Getting the collarbones, just showing everywhere a little bit of love. And the neck. And then before we make it up to the face, rather than rubbing the face, we're just going to use the fingertips on the face and gently pitter-patter tapping the fingertips over the face, so working your way up across the forehead, going across the eyelids, around the mouth, the nose, maybe bringing ourselves up on the top of the head, so you're being rained on. It's quite nice actually. All the way around. And then allow the hands to rest on the knees again, spreading through the fingers, resting the palms, coming to stillness. Awareness back to the body again. So bringing the awareness to the palms, noticing any sensations, any temperature change, any tingling, noticing how the body feels here. One more second, just to let it sink in. We're going to bring ourselves up to a squat now. So wherever you are on your mats, I'll come this way around to start with, so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Bring ourselves into a squat position, and I've got my hands actually outside of my knees to start with, so hands are outside of the legs. And I'm just going to start pedaling into the feet here, so really working into the joint between the toes and the ball of the foot. Pedaling up and down, working into that little joint. And then it's up to you, you can either stay here with your knees in here just bobbing up and down, or I'm going to bring my arms inside of my knees. I'll hop around so you can see, and I'm going to start working the hips out here. But the main purpose of this is to look at working into the soles of the feet. So if you're working here and you're going, oh, this is horrible on my hips, bring yourself back on the inside. Otherwise, I'm going to start working out, which allows me just to roll up and down across the sole of both feet. If this is enough for you at any point, do just stop, come to a rest, come to a squat. If you want to work into it in any other way, this is a bit of movement for you, so if you want to rock forwards and back, just really working out through the soles of the feet. We don't always pay them enough attention. Oh, feels quite nice. I say this like I haven't done this how many times already today. And then coming to stillness. Bringing the knees inside of the arms again if they've crept their way outside. And then we're going to plant through the hands onto the earth. So spreading through the fingers, planting the palms. Again, bringing our awareness to that connection between the earth and the palms. Focusing on all of the points of contact between the ground and the body here. We're going to push up into a forward fold from here. So keeping those hands planted, only push up into the forward fold as far as you can go with your hands planted on the earth. I'm not looking for straight legs here. I'm going to keep a deep bend in the knees. We're going to bring the hips up and back. Chest is aiming towards the thighs. We're not aiming to hyperextend or really force out the backs of the legs here. Keeping in this lovely deep bend with the hands flat on the earth. Releasing into the neck here if you wish. And then keeping the hands planted, and the left leg is staying where it is. Right leg is going to come behind, crossing behind the left leg, as though you're coming into a curtsy here. Bring your left leg to a point where there's perhaps a bit of opening in that right leg. Sorry, right leg is the one I mean. Opening in the back of the right leg, bit of space opening up here. But again, we're not forcing a hyperextension on there, really pushing out through that knee, but keeping a softness. When you found your curtsy position and then creeping the arms around to the left, encouraging a little bit of space into the right side of the waist, all the way up the right side of the body. Give your head a little shake if it wants here, or a nod. Ease off if it's too much at any point during the stretch. And then creeping the hands back where they came from, planting the hands down again, and then stepping that right leg back where it came from. Lovely. Maybe pedaling out through the feet for a moment. Taking a second to recognize the difference in both legs now. So hopefully your left leg, mine's definitely feeling a little bit warmer than the right one. Get rid of my socks. Coming to stillness, planting through the palms again, spreading through the fingers, all four. So both hands, both feet. 4 points of contact with the earth here. Grounding through the right foot this time. Left foot's crossing behind the right, coming into that little curtsy position again. Remembering not to hyperextend through that knee. When you found a space where you've got a little bit of length in the back of the left leg, then we're creeping the hands round to the right side of the body, opening up through the left side of the waist. As before, if any of this is too intense, just ease off. This is not meant to be a forceful practice. This is just creating a little bit of space, working into the feet and the hands. Bring our awareness back to our collective ourselves and the ground. And bring our leg back again. Bring that leg back to where it came. And we bring ourselves down, control the motion here. So how the best do you get down? I'm going to bring myself down onto my heels. Bottom back to the heels. And then creep the hands out in front here. So arms are lovely and long, spreading through the fingers. Space between the fingers. Again, bringing the awareness back to the palms on the earth here. So recognizing every sensation in the palms, all the way down the fingers. Allowing rest in the hips and the lower body. Awareness on the hands. And then keeping the body where it is. I'm bringing mine, keep your heads down, but I'm going to bring mine up to show you what we're doing. We're going to keep the fingertips where they are and just lift the palms off the ground. So it's almost like we're clawing the ground, creating a little dome in each of the palms. I always think of it as spider hands. So lengthen the arms still, just recognizing any way perhaps you might get a little bit more space in the armpits as you lift up, coming up onto the fingertips, and then releasing, replacing those palms back down on the earth again. One more time, coming up onto the fingertips. This time becoming very aware of that space, that little dome we've created underneath the palms of the hands. That invisible shape that's appeared, that's just space, but if you focus on something else, I tend to find you can almost imagine the shape that's being formed. Releasing the hands flat again, spreading through the fingers. And then creeping the hands back, coming up to seated on the bottom. So a little challenge for you next. A few little challenges actually today, little plays. So bringing the arms into the side of the body, we're tucking the elbows in either side of the waist. And then hands are coming out in front. So spreading the fingers, palms facing one another. It's almost like robot arms here. And pretending that the hands are, I think, two magnets is the best way I can describe it. So we're keeping those hands body width apart, and it's like they're two negative magnets that can't go any closer to each other. So you can almost imagine the force in between the hands. If you were trying to push those hands in, they wouldn't go. There's an imaginary force field there that's not letting your hands go any closer than the width of your body. And they're going to come up onto our toes behind us here. So squatting onto our toes, and we're going to come up to standing with the elbows tucked in and the arms in front like this. So you might find you wobble, you might find you're not into this today, in which case feel free to come up to standing and just take some time there, grounding through the feet. Otherwise, we're going to play around with this a little bit together, and we're going to come up, creeping back, up onto the toes, coming into our squat, seeing if you can get yourself there. I inevitably am going to fall over doing this. And then this is the big one. You have to push up through the soles of the feet. Thighs are really switched on here, keeping length in the spine, so tucking that chin in. And we're going to push all the way up to standing. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to push all the way up. Just using those thigh muscles, squeezing everything, bringing ourselves up. Arms are staying where they are. I'm going to come into the middle of my mat just so you can see a little bit better. Keeping the arms there, still resting through the shoulders though, so not squeezing and tensing everything up. Softness in the legs and bringing the feet out to shoulder width apart. Perfect. I'll face you, it'll be easier to see what I'm doing. We're going to now start working into the soles of the feet. So we're going to start rocking forwards and backwards. So we've been working into the toes, coming up onto our tiptoes, keeping a softness in the knees. Actually, it's easier if I stand on the side, you can see. Coming onto the toes and then rocking back onto the heels. Keeping a softness in the knees the whole time. Toes and heels. Or every time you come onto your heels, trying not to fall over. Keeping the arms there, but we're going to start bringing those arms into play. So seeing how slowly we can make this foot movement to start with, really working into that whole bit of the foot. I notice my arches are quite high actually, they don't touch the floor at all. If you find the same problem, but we're going to start bringing the arms in. So every time we rock back on the heels, arms are going to start coming back. And then as we come up onto the toes, arms are going to start coming up high. See how high we can get them while still balancing all the way back. And just playing around with this in your own time. Just for a few swings backwards and forwards, really squeezing those thighs every time we come backwards and forwards. Bending into the knees, rocking backwards and forwards. And then when we're meant to make it to the top, we're going to stay there just for a bit. So staying on those tippy toes, staying at the top, squeezing everything, and then releasing the heels down. Promise I won't do that again. Sorry. And we're up here with our arms. Palms are facing one another at the top, but you can't see the top of my screen actually. But we're then going to swivel the arms around so the palms are facing the top of the mat, or palms are facing me. So now we've got the hands this way around, so we're waving. And we're going to start doing some windscreen wipers with the arms from here. So grounding through the soles of the feet, keeping the rest of the body where it is. We're going to just windscreen wipe the arms. Side to side, it's like we're at a rock concert. Oh, if only we were at a rock concert now. Waving those arms side to side. Just the arms to start with. Long in the waist, grounding through the soles of the feet. And then my hips want to come in anyway, but we're going to start bringing the hips in. So seeing if the hips will go the same way as the arms. So when the arms go right, the hips go right. Arms go left, hips go left. You can go as slow or as fast as you want here. If you really want to wiggle, you got the groove, this way, that way, you do that. If you're really more in for a slow, waving, ebb and flow type movement today, take that one instead. Side to side. And we're gradually going to still the hips again, so coming back just into the arms. And keeping the arms waving side to side. We're going to bring them down. They're coming to cactus at shoulder, so keeping with this waving movement, bringing them to shoulder height, but with a 90-degree angle, little bend in them. So we're here, still waving. Space in the palms, space in the fingers. Notice the arms getting a little bit tired now. And gently those waves growing smaller and smaller. And coming to stillness. Now we've not finished here. So now we're going to start wiggling into the fingers. So keeping the arms here, squeezing through those upper arms. So quite a lot of strength going on here. We're going to wiggle into those fingers. Get some wiggling in the fingers. Maybe bringing that wiggle in the palm of the hands. Having a good old squiggle. Whoa. And then squiggling those fingers still. We're rotating the arms inwards. So rotating the arms forwards. Still wiggling those fingers. Rotating forwards. Arms are creeping. So the hands are coming under the upper arms. And then we're going to open all the way back again. Still wiggling in the fingers. I get some really weird sensations in my fingers when I do this. So I hope you don't feel the same. And then we're going to make it all the way down again. Wiggling those fingers all the way down. And then we'll make it there this time. Keep wiggling in the fingers. We're going to bring straighten the arms. Straightening the arms, wiggling through the fingers still. Keeping that wiggle. Gradually that wiggling is becoming smaller, a smaller and smaller movement. And the wiggles slowing just in the fingertips now. And coming to a stop. Palms now shining towards the front of the mat or shining towards me, spreading through the fingers, grounding through the feet. Either lowering the gaze or shutting the eyes for a minute and just bringing full awareness to the palms of the hands, noticing any sensation in the palms of the hands. Noticing any warmth, any tingling. Notice any other sensations in the body. And then just releasing the arms here. Now, I mentioned getting a tennis ball or a little sock ball. Whichever one you've got, grab it. I've got a sock ball because after I recommended you all get balls, I realised I don't have one. So sock balls, here we go. And just standing on the mat, we're going to pop that little ball just in front of the right foot on the earth. Hands are coming to the hips. And grounding through the left foot, so a softness in this left knee, no locking those left knees. Just going to play around with knocking that little ball or sock ball backwards and forwards, pushing it away from us and bringing it back with that right leg to start with. So just using the right foot, rolling that little ball away and back, away and back. And then we might make those movements a little bit more random and fluid. So maybe kicking it out a little bit more to the side, kicking it wherever your leg sort of wants to take it. You might see how far away we can get it and bringing it back. Recognizing the sensation the whole time of that object, whether it be a ball or a sock ball on the sole of the foot. And rather than just making these movements, so rather than just pushing it around wherever, making the movements based on how it feels on the sole of the foot. Like, does it feel really nice to have that ball in the arch of the foot? Does it feel nicer to roll it around the end of the toes? Just experimenting here. Noticing how that feels. And then when we've had enough, which I have because my left leg is hurting and I'm wobbling all over the place, kicking that ball just in front of the left foot ready, and then bringing that right leg to the earth. Oh, it's actually quite tiring doing that, talking at the same time. Opposite side, so grounding through the right foot this time, softness in the right knee, and then left foot this time again, just moving that ball backwards and forwards, bringing it away, bringing it back, wobbling all over the place. And again, starting to change those movements, so maybe bringing that ball of socks out, away from the body further. So you can sort of play with this however you want. The aim is to sort of work with the sensations on the sole of the foot and let that dictate how you push that ball around. But if that doesn't work for you, you can play around with balance, see how far away you can get it while still staying whoop on that right leg. But primarily we just want to spend some time focusing on the sole of that left foot and how it feels. And then gently tapping that little sock ball back to a place, perhaps out of the way, pick you over there. And coming back to grounding, grounding through both feet, shining both palms towards me, coming to stillness again. Allowing the body to soften. Awareness on both legs. On the soles of both feet. On the palms of both hands. And then we're going to bring the arms up either side of the ears again, so palms facing one another either side of the ears. And I realised I lied to you earlier when I said I'm not going to make you do this again. I'm going to make you do this backwards, so we're coming back down again. We're going to see if we can keep our arms up here either side of our ears while we come back down through a squat. So lengthening the spine, tucking the chin, and then squatting all the way down. Hips are coming down, bending in the knees. If you really want to challenge yourself here, you can come onto your tiptoes and do this. See if you can stay on your tiptoes the whole way down. I'm not going to because I can't be bothered, to be honest. My legs have had enough. But if you really want to, you can challenge yourself there. We're going to come all the way down. Lengthen the spine, arms long the whole way down. Sinking the hips down. And bringing ourselves down onto our bottoms. When we make it down, see if we can get there with the arms still up. Oh, well done if you've made it. And when you get down to the bottom, releasing the arms down. Arms have had enough. Thank you very much. Just spending a moment here. Bring the legs out long in front. Have a little shake out through the shoulders. My shoulders felt every inch and second of that movement. Shaking out through the arms and the legs. And then we're bringing ourselves into a wide-legged seat. So feet are coming out in front, soles of the feet coming together, letting the knees drop out to the sides. As always, if you want to put yourself on a blanket here to lift up the bottom and the hips, or if you find you need some pillows under the knees, if you've got a blanket, I recognised earlier actually, if you have got a blanket, it can be quite nice is if you lay the blanket over your feet. Where is the end of my blanket? Who knows? If you lay the blanket over your feet and then tuck it around the outsides of the hips, I don't know how well you can see this, actually, and then hold the ends in the middle, it sort of creates a little cradle for the knees, actually, and supports the knees in. So see how that goes for you, if that is an option for you today. Check where we are. And wherever you are, in your little comfy seat, hands are coming to the soles of the feet, or just to the feet, wherever they're comfortable. If your soles are really ticklish, try and avoid the soles of your feet. Bring your hands down to the feet and bring a little soft massage into those feet with the hands. Bring the awareness back to the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands and the contact between the two. Squeezing each toe, rubbing those soles. And then when you've given the feet enough love, bringing a forward fold into the posture. So bringing the hands to stillness, holding onto the toes just for a little bit of extra. Last bit of love of the feet, releasing through the neck, allowing the spine just to arch forwards, releasing the neck, allowing it to grow heavy. You might want to give the neck a little bit of a rock side to side here. Think of it as like having a metronome as a head. Just bring a little bit of sideways movement into the spine. Rocking side to side. Encouraging release in the neck. Noticing the breath perhaps in the back body or any space in the back body. Noticing the warmth with the connection between the hands and the feet. Bringing the upper body back to stillness. Very slowly uncurling here, so rolling the body up. Neck opens last, head stacking on the shoulders. Just bringing ourselves into our comfortable seat to end our practice this evening. So either back where you started the practice, or cross-legged, sitting on the knees, wherever is comfortable. Settling ourselves into the posture and having the palms open on the knees again. Or if you wish for closing, you can have the palms down. It creates quite a nice sense of closure and almost brings an inward experience, I find, when I have my palms down on my knees. But whether you need a little bit of space or a little bit of softness and closure, you choose where you are at this point in the practice this evening. And settling into our seat again for the end of the practice. Allowing a softness throughout the body. Encouraging a steadiness, a stillness. And while we sit here, just thanking the body. Thanking the body for allowing us to have these sensations that we perhaps experienced this evening. Thanking ourselves for these moments of stillness, for these moments we allow ourselves to have where all we think about is how we feel. Indulge ourselves in feeling what we wish. And from this stillness, bringing the palms together at heart center into prayer, and bowing the head, chin down to chest. I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening. And thank you, as always, for